Easy and warm with clouds yielding to some sun and a high of 67. And then by Sunday, cooler with plenty of sunshine. Now, we have a couple of delays actually. Today, the big day is we are going to combine with Regional Radio Sports Network, and we're going to do the Hobart at South Bend game. I'm guessing that Paul Condry, who went to Hobart, he's a Hall of Fame announcer, he will be doing that game on the radio and on Jed TV. But I want you guys to know something. At about 9:30 today, they're going to send out a release and put in some major changes on the internet for a name change for Jed TV. So if you're looking for the game tonight, you'll find it under Jed TV, under the app and so forth. But at some point, that app is going to change. So tonight, you can watch Hobart at South Bend. All right, I'm on now. Okay, I am live. All right, so how do I follow the chat? Is it at the top or the bottom? Is it Anthony Gutierrez saying I went out and did not see anything? Needless to say, I was a bit disappointed. Is that the last one? Or is the last one, thanks for your donation to the cost drive? I don't know. Whatever. Now I got to learn. But hey, we're live on, I texted them and they put us on live on Facebook. So I will not play any more music for the time being. But anyways, welcome in. All right, so tomorrow, don't forget, it is at the Hobart Moose Lodge Saturday night. If you like to play bingo, it's pretty a welcoming situation. You just go there. I don't really know anybody else want to play bingo. It opens at 5 on the doors, and then it's 7 to 11 charity bingo, and sponsored by, they'll have moose races, hot balls, which just doesn't sound like anything I would like to play or even be notified of at any point. The kitchen's open, basket raffle. It's an all-around good time at the Hobart Moose Lodge. What I don't know is we are doing the Andrean home game tomorrow for the regional, or tonight for the regional championship, and I'm kind of distanced from it these days, rightfully so. So I got to figure out I got to figure out who they're playing, because I know I have not done that yet, and I haven't mentioned it. But Andrean will be hosting a regional championship tonight. It should be really nice. And if you're just kind of, a casual football fan of high school football, this should be as good as it gets, because the weather's supposed. They got a team called Southmont is at Andrean in the 2A, isn't it? Isn't it 2A? I believe it's 2A. Yeah, it's Class 2A, and that'll be Southmont. Southmont comes in at 11-1. They beat up on everybody. They beat the heck out of Frankfurt, which there's 57-0. They beat North Putnam by 30. They beat Delphi, which is usually pretty good in the sectional opener. So you've got a really good football team coming in to play at Andrean in the 2A section, is it regional, in the 2A regional. So we'll have those two games on Jed TV tonight. So what's happening with you, huh? We're on YouTube. I'm on the air. There's no Kuziak. I want you guys to understand that. Let us get through the branding, the rebrand. It's coming out today. Sam is going to put something out today on why we had to change the name and all that stuff. But you will notice that Jed TV in any form won't exist today after tonight, after we do the games. We're trying to basically change the name during the kind of lull between football and basketball. So just so everybody understands, it is there's two things going on, and that is that you have a Jed TV Sports Network, soon to be called something else. It has relationships with the Times, with RRSN, with the Hobart Broadcasting people, the Porter County Broadcasting people. And we have a number of people that stream through us on this kind of platform that has grown. Originally, I built it or directed it to be built for news and talk and to provide a local option for, instead of having to go to Chicago for all your news and all your shows and that kind of stuff and all your talk. And it never really kind of grabbed for that. As you can tell, we're on YouTube. We're just like, all right. But it surprisingly took off on putting high school and local college games on TV and tournaments and that kind of stuff. And then one day we just realized, well, let's go that direction. And it has been the Jed TV Sports Network all fall, and it will have a new name as of today. So that is TV. Tonight's game, the Hobart game, will also be on WJOB radio, but they're separate. And WJOB, in my mind, is like, all right, I built a sports network. I got guys running it. And you guys haven't seen me announce a game in, I don't know, a couple of years probably. And there's a number of guys, Ben Cowart and Peter Krakowski and Sam Michael, mainly Matt Hansen. They kind of direct that, and they don't really need me as much, and I'm happy with that. So what I get to do is I get to go back to my first love, and really my main love, other than like Alexis and family, is radio. And I want to go back to WJOB, and you will notice some changes between now and the end of the year. And I'm trying to build a system that will work. A lot of it's based on technology, and ultimately what we do in the morning, we have all these podcasts. Yesterday I did 4 podcasts. After my radio show, you'll start hearing those, because I feel as if we tell a story, and it used to be all through live radio. Well, we could tell the same story by podcasting everything and putting it on the internet so you could listen anytime, but also playing it on the radio, along with news, sports, and weather in between, which will be AI assisted. So let me build that system, but you'll notice some, hopefully some major improvements on WGGG. But for now, I do not want to be on YouTube TV. I was against it. I was actually kind of against Podcast Network, but Adriana kind of said, well, you put me in charge, and this is what I want to do. So she has this YouTube channel, which is growing, and I appreciate it. And certainly the Podcast Network is really growing, and all I want to do is do live radio and have others do live radio, and then maybe, okay, you could replay some of it, but now all of a sudden the replays are a podcast. So you have a sports network, live stuff, and then recorded stuff. There's a 24-hour channel there on Jed TV. And then you have radio where we do live stuff and recorded stuff, and it all kind of works together. So there it is. But today you will see the announcement, and we're pretty excited about it. All right, so it is Southmont at Andrean. Now, it has listed here 7:30 p.m. I think that's Eastern time for that game. That'll obviously be on Jed TV. I think Sam Michael is announcing that. And then for the Hobart at South Bend is also at 6:30. So don't wait till 7 to come on. I mean, we have to go by the rest of the state that is on Eastern time. So just stay tuned. All right, let me get set. I'll come back, do some weather, traffic. I'll take your phone calls. I want to talk about a couple of things. They changed the hemp laws, and that's going to change your corner gas station. It really is basically selling THC around the existing structure of laws, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So, all right, what I got to do is I just have to hum because I can't play any music. So I'll go like this. Mama's got a squeeze box she wears on her chest, and when daddy comes home, he never gets no rest, 'cause he's playing all night, and the music's all right. Mama's got a squeeze box, daddy never sleeps at night. Wow, 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 wow. In and out, and in and out, and in and out, and in and out. and they're playing all night, and the music's all right. Mama's got a squeeze box, Daddy never sleeps at night. Come on and squeeze me. Come on and squeeze me. Come on and squeeze like you do. I'm so in love with you. Mama's got a squeeze box. Daddy never sleeps at night. Boom, boom, boom. Hey everybody, AM 1230 WJOB 104.7 FM. You can watch us on YouTube. Just type in WJOB 1230. I'm Jim Dedelow. I'm in for Dave Kuziak on this Friday. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go till about 7, just screwing around. And then Verley and Michelle Quinn are going to join me around 7 o'clock. And we're going to do some stuff and talk about stuff they want to talk about. And then I will vacate about 8 o'clock. And then Verley and Michelle will take that last hour. So if you got anything you want to talk about, 219-845-1100. Let's go with some traffic first. 294 around the city looks pretty good. 80 going east and west looks good. The Bishop Ford, Dan Ryan is lighter than normal. Dan Ryan is bad, though, for about 55th on in. It's actually pretty light on the Bishop Ford and the Dan Ryan, but then all of a sudden it's bad on in there. So if you are coming up the Skyway and the toll road, you're still going to hit it. So I don't know if you want to pay the money today. I would not advocate for that. On the Indiana side, I-65, US 30, man, it's pretty wide open. It's almost holiday-like. Don't forget, it is Hobart at South Bend. St. Joe, you'll be able to get that at, I think we'll go on at 6 tonight on the radio, maybe 6:15. And then that'll also be on Jed TV in all its splendor in video. And then we'll also have Southmont, an 11-1 Southmont team coming in to take the Andrean 59ers at 5959 Broadway. If you're not doing anything, come out to the game. That game will not be on the radio, but you will be able to listen to it and watch it just by going to the Jed TV app. Once again, the Jed TV will be getting a rebrand. I think we're going to kind of at least announce it today. And we've been working on it for about a month. And if anybody's ever had to rebrand their name, then you go with it. So just to remind everybody, Jed TV, or its new name, will be just a TV station for sports, and that's it. You're not watching any more of the WJOB programming on it. And WJOB is, I'm trying to go back to it and build some systems and make it a lot better listen and put up to the minute, more regular news and weather and sports in there in between the podcasts and the live programming, live and recorded podcasts in between, telling the story of the Calumet region for 102 years. Kind of have a new vehicle, and I want to put it together in a system. So WJOB Radio and Jed TV and all that, sports, you get all the whole things. So all the talk and all the sports will be completely separated as of about 9 o'clock today. So there you go. What about what about weather? Mostly sunny, a high of 64. Today, right now, it's 45 degrees here at the Strachan Van Til Studios. It is 44 at Carpenter's Local 599 and at Carpenter's Local 2950 along I-65 in Merrillville. Now, remember, 599, 1005, and 1485 are pretty well-known locals. I think 599 was started in 1899. And then, well, I'll get to that in a second. But anyways, we'll get the Carpenters, and you get the idea. So it goes up to 64. It should be right around 62, and about 60 degrees when they kick off for the Andrean game at 6:30. So if you're not doing anything, go out. It'll be a good watch. Either that or on TV. Certainly if you're in your warm living room, or just sitting in your living room, put it on the big TV. Or if you're driving around or you're at some other function, just put it on your phone, put the app on your phone. I don't think you'll have to download a new app. It'll just have a different name on it, and it'll just kind of look funky for a little while. It gets even warmer tomorrow, breezy and warm with clouds yielding to some sun, and a high of 67 along the Borman. May hit 70 in some of the outlying areas. Isn't that crazy? And then by Sunday, it cools off again, and a high of 52. All right, I got a whole bunch of things I want to get to. First of all, a little bit of quiet so I could figure out when this starts. But Purdue is either the number 1 or number 2 basketball team in the country. You heard the game on WJOB last night. And like many of you, we had to we had to sit in our living rooms or in our kitchens and listen to the Purdue game because there is some sort of contract dispute between Disney and Google. And Disney owns ESPN and Channel 7 and all that. And so Google owns YouTube. So Disney and YouTube are I think it's all about carriage fees, if you know what that means. And ESPN wants more money, and YouTube doesn't want to pay it. But I have YouTube TV, and I know a lot of other people have YouTube TV. They could not watch the Purdue game last night. So actually, Alexis was gone for one of these judges things, and so I'm like, I babysat all afternoon, and I'm like, I need to steady myself a little bit. So I go, well, I'll go over and see Mark Hines at the town club. And I get over there, and Rick James, the bartender, is there. And I'm like, hey, man, where's Hines? He's like, oh, well, he doesn't really work on Thursdays. Well, he doesn't work on Tuesdays either, right? And you guys are closed on Sunday and Monday. When's he work? No, he comes in every morning. So, but anyways, I get over there, and I'm watching the Purdue game, and Purdue, Alabama, and there's other guys at two couples at the bar. And if you've ever been to the town club, you can actually watch the game from eating your dinner in the main booths in the front. It's really a very cozy atmosphere and great food and a great bartender, and a guy named Rick James. I'm not kidding. And then it was, it was about 2 minutes left. Or there was a few minutes left. So I ordered a pizza. I go, I'm going to pick my pizza up, and I'm going to go home and watch the second half. I get the pizza. I get home right as the second half is starting because I'm listening to it on JOB, the halftime show. And then I get home, and I realize I put YouTube on. I go, well, where the hell's the game? And then I start texting my sports guys. I go, what the hell's going on? Where's the Purdue game? Oh, if you got YouTube, you can't watch it. So I sat in my kitchen eating a pizza, looking at the radio like they did out of the 1950s. Or I think the very first game we did for Purdue was in the 1950s. And then we actually did our own broadcasts of the Purdue games for years. And then they built the Purdue Network, and then we started taking their feed. But, it's a pretty long tradition of people listening to games. And then I got a couple texts from people that were like, dude, what's going on? I'm sitting here listening to JOB in my living room. And I go, well, that's how you got to do it. So it was a great game to listen to. Bobby Rydell is on the call. I forget the other guy's name. And Purdue was just outstanding. They can make a really good case to be number one. I think they're between number 2 and number 1. But they were at Alabama last night. And Alabama was ranked 7th or 8th, depending on what poll you looked at. They're a very good team. And Purdue just out-rebounded them. And Purdue has 2 marquee players that took that game over, and Braden Smith and Trey Kaufman-Renn. And it was just a beautiful thing to listen to. I would have liked to watch it. All right, a couple other things. Did you guys, it's a little confusing when you go into your corner store and they have Delta 8, which is like a THC derivative, or you can go into certain stores and you could buy a drink with THC in it. And there's always kind of been a little bit confusing to me how that, you can basically get weed in Indiana under the hemp laws. And part of it is that we grow so much hemp in Indiana, we kind of want to give the hemp farmers a little bit of break. But the Indiana Alcohol and Tobacco Commission in mid-October were going around confiscating some stuff from people, and then some of the folks didn't really know what was going on. But it was 2 days ago, you didn't even realize it, but President Trump signed signed a new game-changing law that will have a huge effect on an exploding industry. In Indiana, the new law closes a loophole that the 2018 Farm Bill unintentionally created by clarifying what the federal government considers legal hemp and what it considers legal marijuana under the new language. Many of the derivative products, like Delta 8, will be considered marijuana and therefore illegal. The prohibition doesn't kick in for another year, but so you'll still be able to get basically anything derived from hemp in in your local corner stores. So it's a huge win for the marijuana industry, as they didn't really want hemp-derived THC out there. But the robust Delta 8 industry, which by some estimates is worth in the billions of dollars, it's a 1-year delay, but it allows them time to strike up a deal and pass sensible regulations on these THC products, which they consider to have distinct and less intense effects than traditional marijuana. So hemp and marijuana are from the same plant, cannabis sativa, and so they kind of came up and made a distinction between Delta 9, and that's really the one that is in marijuana that gets you high, and Delta 8. I went to Wisconsin once, and I was at a bar, and they sold Delta 8, and I'm like, well, what the hell's that? And the guy's like, well, you want to try it? And I'm like, all right. And it was a little drink, and I'm like, well, heck, I'll try anything. I don't know what they're talking about that Delta 8 doesn't make you high, because I was like 10 hippies walking around Madison, Wisconsin, and it lasted a long time. So I was like, we should go away. But so there is confusion. Trump came out and said, no more confusion. It's going to be illegal. And now they're going to go back to the drawing boards and try to draw up some clearer laws. Also, if you're on Medicaid or you know somebody is, they might be in a kind of a caught in a lurch right now, as the state has kicked MDYs from the Medicaid program. I know it was like one of the bigger ones. It's well over 300,000 Hoosiers. You'll have less than 2 months to change health insurance companies, as they're kicking MDYs off the list. I think there's 4 healthcare providers that you could choose for the Healthy Indiana plan or Hoosier Healthwise. And what are the other 3? I can't remember I know one of them, all right, is one of them's Anthem. The other one's CareSource. I don't know what's the third one? Managed Health Services. So you won't lose your Medicaid benefits, but definitely check if you are on Medicaid, if you got some sort of you can log into your account. If you're on MDYs, they will assign you to another one, which would be Anthem, CareSource, or Managed Health Services, if you don't choose, I think, by January 1st. And then also the one that is the biggest story, and I don't even know if it's even gotten to the point where I think this is a game changer on the Epstein files, and they got 218 votes in the House, and they're going to vote to, basically they already have to let go 20,000 pages of emails and texts and other communications from Epstein's estate, and it is dominating people's discussions right now about what's going to happen in America if it comes out. Honestly, if you ask me, let's predict what's in these things when they finally come out. Certainly there were a few emails that came out that were they weren't very flattering to Donald Trump. And for some reason, he's trying to pull out all the stops to keep the 20,000 pages from coming out. I'm not really sure why he would do that, other than he's like, see, the president promised or pledged that he was going to let all of the Epstein files go out. It was part of his campaign platform. And then now he doesn't want them to come out. And, just trying to figure out, why would you say that and then not want them to come out? I don't know. I figure one of two things. I figure that maybe he didn't realize what might be in there. I'm guessing he never, I'm guessing that Trump did not partake in the same things that Epstein did, but he might have knew about it, or he was kind of hanging around it or whatever. And there might be stuff in there, and there are already things in the Epstein ones where he said I could ruin Donald Trump, and that he spent several hours with basically an underage girl, and there was innuendos in the emails, but nothing that would have been, legally, they could go after him legally. But I don't think that when he made that pledge in the campaign, he probably thought, how, whatever happened, whatever I knew about isn't really going to be able to be proven. And so, whatever. So then he saw the few emails here and is kicked up his thing saying, well, we don't want all that stuff to come out. It's all a hoax and fake news and all that. And so it's either that or he didn't realize what was going to be in there. That would be one. Or I'm looking at it, I'm like, well, maybe there's some people behind him that are the real money people and the top 1%ers of the United States. And they're like, I don't care what you do, Donald Trump, do not release those emails under any circumstances, because maybe there will be others in the fold that will be talked about. But House Speaker Mike Johnson decided to quickly schedule a House vote on an effort to force the release of all of the Jeffrey Epstein files once the calculation was made that it couldn't be stopped. The decision marked a shift in strategy for Johnson and the White House, who had long sought to delay the process. House GOP leaders are bracing for a significant number of Republicans to break from President Donald Trump and support the bipartisan bill led by it's a bipartisan, I think it's Massey and Khanna. I think Massey's a Republican and Khanna is the Democrat, calling for the Justice Department to release the files as supporters push for a veto-proof majority. Republican sources say there's a broad cross-section of the conference willing to support the plan, and it will be hard to limit defections. No point in waiting, one House GOP person said. And so it was made clear to President Trump, and he understands that this is an inevitable reality. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this that big of a deal, or is it all a hoax, as the president is already saying? He met with, President met with GOP Representative Lauren Boebert, one of the few Republicans who signed on to the effort, demanding DOJ release the files. And evidently she just keeps digging in, and she's like, no, man, the more that you guys come after me to change my vote, it's more, I think there's some sort of controversy there that I don't want any part of, and let's just make it transparent. All right, stay where you're at. I'll be right back on the voice and face of the Calumet region. Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Jim Dedelow, host of the morning show, the Jim Dedelow Show for today. I'm sitting in for Dave Kuziak. Joe Cimino has just arrived, so I get to come out and sit here. Joe, you can probably turn that thing on in the background there. We're doing the quick presto change. Joe, I do got to mention and apologize that we play the spots on the radio, and they're not showing up on the YouTube thing right now, but it's all part of building systems, and we're still in the midst of doing that. All right, I get to sit down. 294 around the city looks pretty good. 80 going east and west. That's not so bad. Bishop Ford's good, but the Dan Ryan's been a mess most of the morning and continues to be. Especially up near the city, right about 43rd on, and it used to be 55th. So when you get close to the city, it'll be rough. Skyway, Toll Road, Borman, I-65, they're all moving along pretty well. In terms of the weather, I have 64, mostly sunny. Today, right now, it's hanging around 44 degrees at Roofers Local 26 in Maryville. It is 43 degrees at Ironworkers Local 395 in Portage, and 45 degrees here on the campus of Purdue Northwest. Don't forget tonight at 6:30, 2 games on Jed TV Sports Network. You can watch Hobart is at South Bend St. Joe's. That should be a good game. And certainly Southmont at Andrain at 6:30 should also be a good game. On the radio, we'll put the Hobart game. Hobart is away at South Bend St. Joe. I don't know if that's going to be Paul Condry. If it is, you will get you'll get one of 2 Hall of Fame announcers that are kind of close partners with us these days with Regional Radio Sports Network. And it'll either be Mike Knezovich, the Morton grad, or Paul Condry, the Hobart grad. And they are both in the Indiana Broadcasters Hall of Fame, so you'll be able to hear one heck of a broadcast tonight. Also, tomorrow night, don't forget about the Moose Lodge Bingo from 7 to 11 at Hobart Moose Lodge. Doors open at 5. Everybody's welcome. Everybody's not welcome tonight, where they watch the Hobart game at the Moose Lodge. It's just for Moose members or Moose guests. But tomorrow, it will certainly be open for everybody, and it's a very welcoming environment. Don't forget, there is a huge need for food, and right now, you can round up at your Strachan Van Til location, and all that money is going to go to the Northwest Indiana Food Bank for the entire month of November. I'm going to talk a little bit, and then in just a couple of minutes, it's going to be Verley, and it's going to be Michelle Quinn, and they're going to join me, and we're just going to talk about a couple things. I want to hit, they had a little hiccup. If you guys don't know how this works, Zoe Mintz, who used to intern here, is now the main weather person for CBS in San Francisco, but she still does the weather for 219 News Now on Thursday nights, the weekend weather. That's all we could get her for. We couldn't get her for every night because she's on CBS in San Francisco. So she had something she had to go appear at last night for CBS in San Francisco, so she couldn't do it till this morning. So if you're looking for the new 219 News Now, that may be a little bit delayed this morning until it's only 5 o'clock there. She had to go to a doing, as you would say in the region, and then she will do the weather, and then they'll finish and hopefully post that by like 9 o'clock. So I'm going through a few of the news things, and one of the other thing, partly because we don't have 219 News Now, but there's a couple of things I wanted to make sure we hit. Certainly to announce that a little bit later today, we are going to change the name of the Jed TV Sports Network and all of that. And also, one other story before I go to the phone calls, 219-845-1100 if you want to get in. There's one open line right now. I'm not really sure what this one means. Now, the International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 150, just to be straight, I think there's 7 trade unions and then the operators at BP that all support our sports network and WJOB. The operating engineers, Local 150, is not one of them, but you do know that I come out of the laborers and try to make sure that everybody gets treated fairly on the air, put it that way. But they're raising concerns that the $832 million Project Maze data center in Michigan City is bringing in out-of-state contractors and workers, including from Wisconsin, Ohio, and Alabama. Now, let's see, Local 150, they have I think they have a hall is that Crown Point or Maryville, but they're really based out of Countryside, Illinois. They represent 24,000 workers who operate heavy equipment in Indiana, Illinois, and Iowa. They said that the workers should be hired locally because the project was getting $42 million in tax breaks over 35 years. And the greatest economic impact takes place during the construction phase, since data centers tend not to have many permanent employees. Local 150 has picketed and placed a giant inflatable rat outside the job site. If Indiana taxpayers are funding these developments, Indiana workers should be building them. Union spokeswoman Christine Cavanaugh said Michigan City Mayor Angie Nelson Deutsch brought the developer, Milwaukee-based Phoenix investors, together with representatives from Local 81, laborers, and Local 150 for a meeting. Both unions expressed they had not been working on the project despite wanting to be there, she said, so the mayor stepped in to facilitate that conversation. Local 210 of the plumbers, the 531 of the fire suppression, Local 4 of the bricklayers, 1165 of the glaziers, 1485 carpenters, Local 531 electricians, and 1118 painters, and the IBW high voltage crews have been working on the project. But Local 20, 81, and 692 and iron workers are also slated to work on the project. I don't know why they're acing out Local 150, but evidently they is. Let's take a phone call, 219-845-1100. Hey, you're on the air.
Good morning.
How you doing today?
Well, you scared the tar out of me. I pushed a button to call the phone, and you said, "Who is this?" I'm like, huh?
What's on your mind?
Yeah, hey, I've been doing, now that I got time, I'm doing a lot of studying and stuff and reading and scoping everything out. I watch TV, and then I watch you guys. Men and women, I got a question, and maybe everybody can say which way they do it, but on a station that I'm watching this morning, there's 4 ladies and 1 man, and I'm just curious, when you're sitting there, like you're sitting now, but when you're sitting there, do you cross your right leg over your left knee, or do you cross your left leg over your right knee, or do you just sit like a man straight up? Does a man put his legs over his knees, or does a woman do that? You know,
like right now, I have my right leg over my left knee because I have to put my computer on something, right? But
right.
I prefer to sit kind of open-legged, which is not usually an option for women that are in dresses.
I know.
I have the right answer.
What is it?
So if you are sitting with your ankle on your knee, that's a professional man thing. If you move your leg farther in and have your knees overlapping, that's how women sit. That's the difference.
What do you mean, like
this?
Yes.
If a guy puts his leg over his knee, he's not a guy, he's a girl?
Well,
no, I'm just saying that's how it works. That's
okay.
How when you're sitting in a suit or you're sitting in a dress, that's how it works.
So
I know.
hold on a
their
second.
Ankle on their knee.
I'm sitting right now in what you're describing as the female position, right?
Yes.
Now, without getting too graphic, this is a bit uncomfortable. Like in the underwear area, right? So it is much more comfortable to open it up a little bit and let some air get in there.
I got two quick things. I'll let you go to the next call. Maybe the professor can professionally answer that question. But thing is, two questions. Okay, Bezos launched the thing going to Mars, and I heard on the thing that in time to come, people are going to go to Mars. Now, two things I want to know. If we go to Mars, are we going to have to pay taxes there, and is there going to be a government on Mars?
That's a rhetorical question. What's your other one?
And the other one is, okay, I don't know if you're ever going to go to Mars, but if you do, are you going to put a WJOB tower on Mars?
Oh, in a heartbeat, man. You'll be able to hear it all the way to Uranus.
I know. Okay, well, I'm going to let you all go, and
all right.
maybe the professor can answer all my questions, and I know Verley's going to answer a question about crossing legs because ladies are totally
You know what?
different.
Verley wore pants today because she was afraid that we were going to sit in the podcast situation. She couldn't be behind a desk. So, everybody out there is in pants today, all the three women that are going to join me.
All righty,
and they're waiting. Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
all right,
everybody.
Guys, short break, presto changeo, and three women are going to join me for the next hour, and they're going to tell me what to do, and they're going to tell me how to sit, and they're going to tell you all about what's going to happen in the Epstein case, and not a one of them brought me a coffee, I don't think. So, oh, Verley did. Thank you, because I made this stuff at 5 o'clock in the morning, and it's all cold now. Hey, get ready. We'll be right back on the Voice and Face of the Region.
There we go.
So we could hear. There you go.
There we are. Yeah, I think so.
Right as I was coming on, I was complaining before I went to break that no one brought me a coffee. Verly brought me the hottest coffee in America.
Listen, do not sue me like McDonald's because you spilled it in your lap.
That's on you.
I got to tell you that there is so much like foretelling on this show because recently I was talking about the Moose Lodges having bingo, and one of the things that they're promoting on the bingo is the different games they're going to play. One's moose races. They're going to have door prizes, and they're going to play
hot balls. All right. Woo! Jim can relate. He spilled the coffee.
I'm like, whoa, is that? I said earlier, I go, I don't really want to say that because that's something you don't want to wish on anybody. But and then all of a sudden, I spilled Dunkin' Donuts coffee. Excuse me. Let's look at traffic. 294 around the city looks pretty good. 80 looks good out to Joliet, and the Bishop Ford looks good, but the Dan Ryan's been bad all morning long. And even if you take the Skyway Toll Road and you want to pay the money, you're still going to hit bad traffic. I don't know why it's so bad today because there's like 8 lanes, and I don't see an accident. But it's been bad since I got here at like 5:30 or so, or actually 5:50. I thought you came in at 6, Amino, so I could come in late, and I show up and there's nobody here. So
You told me
I know,
say.
it was me. And then I'm like, oh. That was because I said something. Skyway Toll Road, Borman, I-65 are all moving along well. Adriana Alvarez with the weather? Nope,
Yes.
not yet.
Oh, I can if you want.
I mean, I can do it.
Wait,
Whatever,
Joe
whoever
Cimino.
wants to do it.
Joe Cimino with the
Honestly,
weather. Go
I
ahead.
don't have the camera on me. All right, so today it's going to be – we're going to have a nice weekend, honestly. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all sunny with just a fair bit of clouds. 65 on Friday, 68 on Saturday, and 50 on Sunday. That is your weather for the week.
Joe Cimino, the former quarterback at, I think, 4 years ago at Andrean. Your 59ers are going up against an 11-1 Southmont team tonight. Sam Michael and Tim Fedler, and I don't know if Brett Jennings is going to be there too on the call. And that game will go off at 6:30. Remember, don't tune in at 7 o'clock and they're in the second quarter. Goes off at 6:30. What are your chances tonight?
100%.
All right.
I'm very confident in our ability. The regional championship is always the one that scares me. Usually once we get into the semifinals, we're pretty good. But the regional is usually where Andrean struggles. But I think we're pulling it out.
All right.
Well,
like
I'm going to
our
agree
defense.
with that because Andrean students come and they volunteer at the soup kitchen every first Friday, and then they take the whole month of November coming. So they'll be
I
there
love it.
today, so we'll be cheering on for tonight.
That's Niners pride right there.
Yeah,
Most
Niner
definitely.
pride. We're behind the Niners. They got a Southmont team that is very highly ranked. Also, we will have Hobart at South Bend St. Joe. Paul Condry and or Mike Konezovich on the call for that. We're going to run that one on the radio tonight. So if you're driving around, you'll be able to get Hobart at one of the strongest Catholic schools in the state of Indiana. Right now, Verly Suggs, Michelle Quinn, and Adriana Alvarez. First, I must.
Good morning, everybody.
Yes.
What a way to start off your weekend.
You are being joined this morning by what they said.
That's what they
you know,
said.
Jim.
I got to the end of the row here, and I'm like, kind of forgot her name for a second.
Oh, no.
And not
Bert
only,
takes her off the radio, or takes her off her show, and now he's forgetting her
Me and
name.
Joe are gonna do a podcast. That's what we'll do.
you know
I'm
what?
still not okay with it.
How many podcasts you got now?
I think I gotta count them again, but I think it's like 21.
Yeah, so there is a.
We had 3 in 1 week.
I want to apologize on one thing and then congratulate. Verly came to me, and I was just going to take off at least through Thanksgiving. And she came to me and she said, Jim, your sponsors want you, and you need to come back.
Well, Jim, let's clarify something first of all. I did not mean
To take
that's what they
Adriana-
said. I did not mean Adrian and AM. Now, I might have meant Chuck on Monday or Dabberton on Wednesday, but I definitely didn't mean us. So, no. Let's get it straight.
So, yes, I thought about it, and as typical, what happens with Verly is I reject everything she says at first, and then I think about it in the shower, and then I'm like, you know what, I think she's right. I got to come back. Now, Adriana, obviously I'm coming back up for the Tuesdays and Thursdays, And now, since Kuziak's not here, and that is your and Semino's decision that you got to make after we do the rebranding today. We were going to wait for that. So there's a rebranding for Jed TV Sports Network. It's not going to be that anymore. We all know what it is here, but don't say it out loud. It comes out at about 9 o'clock today.
Exciting. Congratulations.
And so you're taking Jed off, I bet.
We're taking Jed TV away. Well, and
Yeah.
I think Adriana and Semino understand this, but Hansen came in and he did a full, marketing audit. And he said, we're going to other markets, and they don't know Jed.
They don't know Jed.
And so that we need a more generic
You could have
name.
saved money. I would have shared that with you. I would have saved you lots of money.
No, you would have just given me a command and walked out, and I would have either
Drop
had
the
to.
Jed.
So I want to congratulate Adriana on this. I didn't want to be on YouTube. People are mad now when I'm not on YouTube
When you
anymore.
texted this morning saying someone put me on YouTube, I was like, okay, because I had to set up that Joe just starts it when he gets here.
Yeah.
Well, I laughed at him the other morning because he likes to play his music, and then he couldn't get back on the YouTube. So can we what about AI music? I was listening to something about that. Can't
That
you just do
actually-
AI music?
You might be onto something because I know that covers are non-copyright. So like if you wanted to play like cover songs, it would work.
Ooh.
Yes.
But it couldn't be the actual artist singing the
Right.
song. So I don't know exactly how that works, but that's definitely interesting.
I'll take a cover. I mean, there's some great covers.
We'll
out
just
there.
play what's that song, Adriana? White Christmas or whatever that Jed sang?
Oh, Silent Night.
Silent Night.
He wasn't here last year when you were singing Silent Night, and I was like, okay, well, it's almost Christmas time. You're going to have to know what it is.
Why don't we just play it on the air during breaks every single time?
I think that we can play certain Christmas
Certain
songs.
Christmas
Yeah,
songs. We
and
gotta
so
look-
we'll
me and Mary
start
gotta look
doing
at
that. But I'd rather wait till Thanksgiving.
I'm going to tell you my memory. When you first bought the station with, was it Federici? And then you guys were doing the transition. He was going to Michigan City, and you were staying, and you played Christmas carols like a whole month.
Yes.
And I was
Kinda,
like, when are they coming back?
I've had to wipe the slate clean a couple of times, but I want to make it clear, I did not want to be on YouTube, and Adriana has been given a ton of responsibility here. And she said, yeah, we're going to YouTube. And she took your cues. Well, if Verley can tell him what to do and just whatever, I can tell him what to do. And that's what happened. And then I didn't really want to do this podcast network. I wanted a couple. I want you to do one. And I want Michelle I want us all to kind of have our own. But it was just kind of a hobby. And she's like, nope, it's a business now. We have 21 podcasts, and I don't even know.
Wonderful.
What's Sparks' name?
Spark Speaks, that is, I have her name right here.
She's
Levita
the latest
Sparks.
one.
And
Levita
then
Sparks,
we
yeah.
have Guard Street and Alta Vista Network.
Yeah, they all have.
And then we are working on getting, I believe, 2 more.
Yeah,
I hope
so
you have insurance.
what do you think?
I know you better.
Well, way to go. But Adriana, I think ultimately what has happened is we have morning shows and morning podcasts. Yesterday I podcasted live until noon, but we don't have anything in the afternoon. And I was going to talk to you about that, but Verley interjected and said, oh, well, why'd you kick Adriana off the air? I go, well, we got a place for her. Just relax. There's
The
nothing.
funniest thing is we're talking all about this. I'm getting text from my family members, and one of them said, if it was up to me, we'd be on Channel 7. We'll put you national.
Michelle Quinn's got to teach today, so we
Yes.
want to go straight to
Straight to yours.
a couple of things. I don't even know what to make of this. I haven't talked about it very much. I had a bunch of local stories in the first hour, so we could hit this.
Yeah.
But this Epstein thing is sickening in the whole idea. Every time I see his face on the TV, I just like, gosh. And now they're showing it everywhere. But there are a lot of different tendrils to this, but it's inevitable that they're going to have to kick out 20,000 pages of stuff from the Epstein estate. They kicked out just a few hundred the other day, and they had so many things that came out that were negative to Donald Trump.
Well, as I understood it, that the Democrats, they kicked out like 3 pages that were already, pretty damning. So then the Republicans, oh, okay, well, we're going to see that, and they kicked out the other 20,000, which
Could have
okay,
been done
that's a
long time
weird,
ago. But
Yeah, it's a weird flex, but okay, guys, and now you're.
Where do you think it's going to go? What is your projection?
let's hear from our award-winning journalist.
Oh God, I know where I wish it would go.
Where do you wish it would go?
To the
We
top.
okay, so we have a known pervert leading the leader of the free world, and what does this do? Now it's clear that he is that he likes underage girls. I think he should be gotten rid of, but every bone in my body says that's not going to happen.
What about you?
I wish that people would address this more than it just being that it's not true, it's not true, it's not true. If you're seeing emails about it and that other individuals are saying that they're cherry picking emails out of this, well, you got 3 emails that if you want to say they're cherry picked, sure, they're cherry picked. But
Right.
if those 3 emails speak more volumes than another 3 that you could have picked, doesn't that mean that within those 3 emails that something really bad happened?
Yeah.
And if it's just 3 emails, imagine what the rest of the files look like. And a lot of people are like, well, what if this person's in it? What if this Democrat's in it? What if this Republican's in it? Okay, they're in it. Have justice served regardless of what side of the aisle you're on.
Bill Clinton's in it. Bill Clinton's everybody. Well, is water wet? I mean, does that surprise anyone if he is?
So I think of like going back to like the Mayflower Madam and things like that, where we always know that individuals have tried to keep secret their extracurricular activities.
Mm.
Clinton did it.
Yeah.
We know that. They talk about the Kennedys.
The Monica
So-
Lewinsky
Yeah,
thing.
right. So we already know that exists. And there are some top people who are probably trying to make sure they're protected because there is nothing in me that makes me believe that Epstein committed suicide. It was an inside job. There is no way that man committed suicide.
And I think it's proven now, too, by the emails showing that, after Donald and Jeff broke up, the way that Jeff was talking smack about Donald,
So
I don't know.
So, 2 things. First of all, I hope that. Hey, by the way, just give us a group shot. You're making me dizzy.
Yeah, this back and forth.
I noticed you were
I was
doing
going to
that,
say, and I'm like, I'm not ready for the close up. So
Yeah. Hey,
it's creative
keep me
decision.
back.
hey.
It was some intense stuff, so I figured the close up was the shot.
So you
there.
wanted
you
everyone to be dizzy.
I
Hey,
wanted the close up for everyone.
yeah,
not
yeah,
look
I
over
agree
there
with
like,
that. So what you do with that is, while it's a group shot, you move the camera and then you go to it. So I hope that there's nothing in there that it will kick Donald Trump out, and I hope
It won't kick him
No,
out.
hold on. I hope that it does. There's no more incriminating emails about our president, and I hope that some of the richest and most powerful people that are rumored to be in these emails, that they are not in them. Okay, I think that we have enough turmoil in America that I don't want to wish.
Are these rose?
No.
You
Those
sure?
are mine.
Oh,
These are not yours?
Those are mine.
Right. But are they rose colored? Because that's what I think you're looking through.
oh, okay.
I think the second part of that is that if there is that much damning evidence, not just about Donald Trump, but
Sure.
about other huge leaders in America, I feel like we're at a tipping point, and this is the one thing that could just really push us into just even higher levels of hysteria. There is rose-colored glasses element to that, and I will deal with the reality of whatever comes out of this, and I'm very fearful of it, but I, as you guys well know, I already think that we're at a tough spot in America. We don't talk to each other. We can't even get any. I mean, we're going to talk about immigration here in a second. That's even worse right now. If this comes out that bad, I believe that something really awful will come of it for America. and I'm afraid of it.
Well, I mean, we see him not responding to anything. We see
For
that
the first time, for God's sake, he shut his mouth.
Caroline Leavitt has said that the emails prove nothing except for the fact that he's innocent. And
okay.
everybody's asking her about the Epstein files, but they're not asking her about anything else, which we want to look at both sides. Yes, there are some other things like the government shutdown and everything, but then the Epstein files. I understand both sides, but you're having her say those things. You're having Trump and his administration meet with people to turn their votes to not release the files.
Lauren Boebert wouldn't do it. What do you make of that? I thought for sure she would switch.
Well, if they were trying to, as I said, or I started to say, Lauren Boebert, what are you going to blackmail her with? I mean, she's already been caught humping a guy in a children's play. She had, just last week, we were talking about her costume, which was highly offensive, her Halloween costume, her and her boyfriend.
Immigrant.
Yeah.
The ICE agent. Just horrible.
Yeah. What do you got on her? Nothing. So, okay, blackmail me. Okay, what's not already out?
Now, wasn't she a domestic abuse survivor or
Yes.
what? Yeah, it was child sexual abuse, right? Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
that kind of.
And you're going to try to switch her, that, regardless of whoever's in office, regardless of if it's red or blue, if you try to do that, that just shows bad character, because you're telling somebody who is a survivor, hey, about this entire situation of
Right.
other survivors, we don't want this to come out, instead of getting justice for them. And some
Right.
people said that within the files, that there's a lot of stuff that needs to be taken out to respect the privacy of the victims. And some people are saying just blur out their name. And some
Well, you're not
individuals
supposed
are
to.
yeah,
That's
so,
what redactions
Right.
are
The
for.
redactions are for that.
yes. And there was a point where somebody took the files and they're just like, they're showing that you can't read them
Because of all the
everything's
redactions, right.
taken out. So that's causing a lot of different stirrups. And then also a few months ago, didn't Trump say that I want my name taken out of them?
Okay. Well, let's take a phone call, and then we'll continue with the conversation. How's that, Jim?
Don't ever.
Some people have probably been waiting since you started this
All right,
morning.
well, there are basically. Let's take some phone calls. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Good morning, everyone. Brad Gimbel with a take that you guys might not have on this Epstein thing. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Brad. Doing great.
Now, do you really believe that this guy, as shady as he was, trafficking women, put all of this stuff in email for the public to see
Yes.
years later?
Yes.
You really believe it? You really
Yep.
believe it?
Why do you
okay.
believe that, Michelle? I believe there's a lot that's not in those emails.
Well, I'm sure they're, that what's in there now, what they're showing now, that's absolute amateur. That's absolute amateur hour. And I believe that people with filthy amounts of money, they don't care. I think that they, we're not going to get caught. What's the law going to do to us?
Why wouldn't you think emails? Look what happened to the former mayor of Detroit. I mean, text messages send him to prison. So why wouldn't you think emails would come up? They never disappear.
Right.
That's why it's amateur hour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because and I'm guilty of this too. You put stuff in email that, looking back on it, especially when I was younger, like, what am I doing? I mean, I know that when I talk
But this
to,
guy trafficked human beings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just don't believe he put it.
Yeah,
like that.
and you think that, and knowing that, you'd think that anybody who's advisors. I mean, my family ran gambling dens in Gary. Okay, they were huge,
Statute
huge
of limitation
back in
is
the
up,
60s.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. In the 60s, and nobody said a word about anything because all the politicians from around here came to the gambling den. I mean, my uncle would go to door and collect envelopes at 8 years old, and nobody said a word.
No,
So this guy is supposedly trafficking children and women for years and years, and he put it in email?
Yeah.
I think this is the biggest distraction that's taken everybody away from what's really going on. I mean, all of you hemp people missed it yesterday. Section 781 basically bans THC, Delta 8, Delta 10, no
Right.
CBD oil anymore.
Take it all away.
No,
Jim talked
point
about
form-
that this morning.
Yeah, with all this craziness going on, I just want to say, and I'm going to go on record, just like I did about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency when it was under $1,000 a few years ago, this is the distraction that's going to keep everyone away from what's really going on. It's our lives and our rights being completely eroded, for one.
Mm-hmm.
And two, all of the financial system. Do you realize how much was liquidated yesterday while everyone was worried about who had sex with who?
Mm-hmm.
Massive. So I'm just saying, I think that this is the distraction. I mean, if you think about it, you're saying the elites of this world, right? Their entire lifestyle is to figure out how to keep you occupied so you don't know what they're doing. And they all work together. And I know it's proof because my family can tell you stories about every politician sharing the same woman over and over or paying the same bookie. And that's the way it goes. So I don't know. I think I know you guys have huge hearts and we all have our best intentions, but I think this is the biggest distraction that's put onto the American public. And I just think it's going to turn around and be, I don't know. I just can't buy it. A guy this organized wouldn't put this kind of stuff in email.
I don't believe
that's
it's
the word
a
on the street.
distraction. I believe there's far more than what is there. I'm not saying
I
that.
will agree with you there.
But it's already brought down a prince over in Great Britain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Brad, I want
Yeah.
Obviously I hang out with a number of lawyers, and
Sure.
it's amazing how many cases turn on an errant text message or an email. Verley and I are both of the kind of, I guess, the time of life here where I was caught early when I was like in third grade. There was a note going around, and then I wrote the note, and then the nun took it up and read it to the class.
Yep.
I learned early on, don't write anything down. I mean, even like,
Absolutely.
Don't leave a trail.
There's no trail. And then, like, all right, I'll just tell you, every once in a while, I hadn't seen, the wife was gone last night, and I might make like a somewhat of a risque comment.
Right.
And then I notice it's like, it's deleted on her side, and like, don't you ever do that. So she's also reinforced.
Don't ever text without your glasses on, because I surely sent one of those texts to the wrong people.
Ooh.
So
yeah, I mean, you haven't seen each other, and you're like, it's just me and my wife. What are they gonna like hang us for? Like wanting to, she won't text anything, and she won't email, and none of the lawyers that I know, they all like saying, hey, just don't email anything, don't text anything.
Exactly.
But smart people don't care sometimes, and they leave a trail, and it never goes away. And I'm curious. All right, thanks, Brad.
Thanks,
I
Brad.
appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Brad.
You got it. Have a great weekend, you all. Bye-bye.
Yep.
Let's take a couple more phone calls. 219-845-1100.
good morning, caller. You're on the air.
You see what happens is I take a swig of I take a swig of my coffee, and Verley knows, so she says coming on in. Hey, 219-845-1100. All right, so I want to move it real quick to the government shutdown, but hey, Joe, take a quick break, and then let's come back, and we will have a second segment for you. Was that segment okay? Was that the right length, or do you want it longer?
Well, you have to leave in about 10 minutes, right?
I've got till about 7:50ish.
All right.
Yeah.
7:50. Yes, we can take a break.
All right, short break, and we'll come back with another segment on the voice and face of the region. AM 1230, WJOB 104.7 FM. You can also watch us on YouTube channel. What's it called? What are the call letters?
The YouTube channel is
Yes.
WJOB 1230
All
on
right.
YouTube. You search that up. It's the first thing that's going to come up.
All right, there it is. 294 around the city looks good. 80 going east and west looks good. The Bishop Ford is perfect, but man, the Dan Ryan has been bad all morning long. That's awful when you're driving up there. You're like doodly 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 doo. Stopped at 95th, or actually on the merge there. It's already stopping. Skyway, Toll Road, Borman, I-65 are moving along pretty well. Who's got weather? Joe Cimino with
Joe,
the
you got
weather.
Okay, so we're gonna have a lovely weekend with a lot of nice weather. A few clouds going on Friday and Saturday, a bunch of sun on Sunday. We're going to have a high of 65 on Friday, a high of 68 on Saturday, and a high of 50 on Sunday.
6:30 tonight, Hobart at South Bend St. Joe. A Hall of Fame announcer will be on the radio, either Knezovich or Condrey. I'm not really sure who it is, of Regional Radio Sports Network. We're kind of doing it together. And our sponsors will be on theirs, and we'll play some of theirs on our game, which will be our main game, will be Southmont at Andrean. We'll be doing that one on TV only. Put the Jed TV app on your phone and watch it change at some point in the next couple weeks. We'll get a entirely new rebranding. Will be announced today around 9 o'clock. Sam Michael has put out a video and a press release that's scheduled to go out at 9. So look for it. If you want to make sure you get that press release, just email to Sam at WJOB1230.com and you'll get on the list. Also, tomorrow night, bingo at the Moose Lodge, 7 to 11 in Hobart. Doors open at 5. Everybody is welcome. Michelle Quinn, Verley Suggs, Adriana Alvarez, and behind in the fishbowl is Joe Cimino.
Yay. And Jim Dedelow, for those who don't know.
I got to put your new show graphic on there.
Michelle's got to go teach school today. Michelle, the government's been shut down for a while. Mm-hmm. Was it a success for either party?
No.
So which one got hurt more?
I'm going to say that the Dems did, because regardless of what they, I hope that being able to hammer about how the ACA and how the insurance, how that's going to go up drastically for everybody, I hope it's worth it for the Dems to hammer, and I hope they really do hammer it as we go into midterms, because that's all we got out of it. In the meantime, the Republicans are able to say we caved and that they won, and it was useless.
Why do you think 8 senators caved?
Because they probably, the stuff that I was reading, I think that they got pressured. I think that the airlines were like, hey, we're coming into the season where everybody's going to be flying and we need to fly. And, they started shutting down those routes right before it happened. And not the small routes, stuff like from Hartsfield and O'Hare and Midway and all of them. So
what about at the street level? I mean, yesterday I was a little bit surprised when Adrian Santos and Nikki Micah came in here and they were talking about the deluge that they're getting at the North Township Trustees office. Yeah. They've taken people out of the park. They've put them into the office as caseworkers. And it's still a month and a half wait before you can get seen or get an appointment.
Yep.
You can walk in and maybe get your appointment, but I think it's A through C is the first week of November, and there was all sorts of disruptions on the SNAP benefits, and to me it kind of looked like we're setting some people up to starve if we don't do something. I mean, you certainly have the flights, but you also have they were not able to process new Social Security payments. I mean, there were all sorts of delays that were starting to back up to ordinary Americans. I don't know. I felt like that was also going to be a big factor.
I don't think they cared about that as much because they let it happen in the first place. With the SNAP stuff, the SNAP was not supposed to be messed with, and yet it was. And I don't think that. I think the flight, I would be willing to bet that was more important than the food stuff. Because when that happens, then the churches and the townships and the food banks, they're supposed to just magically have this money, and all of the rest of the people who are struggling themselves, they're just supposed to keep pitching in, which is great, and you should do that. But how realistic is that? How much could you donate to the food bank before you can't anymore?
And that is one of the reasons we are going to have the Kuziak Food Drive, just so you know. That has to happen. I will say I want to make sure that people know there's a lot of people on Medicaid that listen to this show, and 300,000 Hoosiers are in this classification. But last night, Governor Braun broke off with MDYs. A lot of people are MDYs. And you are going to be pushed to another one. A lot of people like MDYs because they had different doctors and so forth. Not all doctors take all 4 Medicaid plans, so they got rid of that. I think there's going to be Anthem, CareSource, and medical something or other, medical health wise. But MDYs, you're done at the end of the year. So go on to your Medicaid account online and choose one of the other ones. Otherwise, they will assign you one. And I don't know why they couldn't get it together, because I know a couple of people that really like MDYs, and it seemed like egos were clashing. Let's take some phone calls. You're on the air. How are you?
I'm doing well. Hi, guys.
Good morning.
I have a question, Jim. If I were, you're doing all these changes with the radio station. Where would I go to get, like the other day when it was stormy, where would I hook up to get that information? Do I have to go to YouTube? Do I stay on 1230? What do I do?
All right, so I'll answer for Adriana, and then she'll clean this up. I've got a system that my son-in-law built that the weather will update every half hour on AI. We haven't been able to put that in there, so if there's really bad weather, I just record it, and I can do it on my phone and send it from wherever I am. That's what we're doing right now. That's going to be Adriana's job, part of her many jobs. But you're right, weather needs to be up to date, and we can do that.
Closings.
All of that stuff will be. I'm building a system, and that's what I do. That's what I did with the sports network. That's what I do well. But I don't operate them well. I can just kind of start it. And I'm doing that along with Adriana and Semino, so that we'll be able to put AI weather, AI traffic, Sam Michael sports, and then Andrew Garcia's news, and then other news that goes in there. Anything to add to that?
And where would I tune into?
1230.
Yeah, so the TuneIn app still works with us.
It is, Ben. We are putting in new equipment today, and I had them pull out it's not on today.
Okay.
Yeah, not today, but it will be tonight for the Andrean game.
Yes, eventually all of our morning shows and community programming podcasts, we are going to have them all on YouTube when they are live. But for the times that we are not live, it is going to be through the radio only. YouTube does not have a 24-hour channel. So from that, after all of our stuff is built and everything is pretty good, we will launch it and troubleshoot from there.
Okay, so would I be going to YouTube then? Or would I just stay?
When we're not live, we're only on YouTube when we're live, right? Is that right?
We're only on YouTube when we're live.
Okay, you're
so
live
the radio,
right now.
Yeah, the radio
You're
would
live
be
right now. So where would I go?
So if you
To
want to watch
YouTube,
us,
or
you
can I
can.
still-
If you want to watch us, you can go to YouTube. But if you just want to listen to radio, you tune into AM 1230, 104.7 FM,
Or the TuneIn app,
TuneIn app.
which I shut down for today because they're putting in a new furnace.
Oh, okay.
And they had to turn off the power there. So,
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I was going to go to the right place when I want to hear who's on.
there you go. Yeah, so go to in other words, Adriana and I and Semino and some others, we're going to fix the radio station. For the last 5 years, all we concentrated on was sports, and it just irritated Verley to no end. So to placate her and
for callers such as yourself who want to hear a little bit more than just sports, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to hear sports.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't care.
All right. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I almost threw up in my mouth the other day when I heard a certain caller call.
That could be any number of them.
Oh no, we know.
We
I
know.
have a wonderful weekend.
That
Hey,
person's busy in the
nice
chat making all kinds of derogatory comments. You think he would have learned his lesson, but that's another subject.
Nice graphic. I thought I gave a bad graphic when I said that they're going to play hot balls bingo at the Moose Lodge, and then now she's throwing up in her mouth. Everybody's done that. It's an awful taste.
Yeah, it is.
It's just awful.
It's called acid reflux.
There was also someone that I heard from that noted that you were thinking about Verley in the shower, Jed. Ooh.
Oh. It wasn't in that way. I was thinking about what she said. Jed, you have to come back. And I like, well, you know, Adriana and I had kind of worked it out that I would go to Thanksgiving.
Right.
And Verley was very adamant. She's like, you need to come back or your sponsors are going to get mad. And then I'm like, oh, that's not going to happen. And then that day, two of them called me, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I hate that.
Right, but I'm just saying that, you know, because we're all 12 around here, they were thinking about Verley in the shower.
Oh,
So-
well. Well,
Tee-hee, everybody.
Well, that's not a bad thought.
You know
But
what?
anyway, moving on.
Well,
Do we have any calls?
You know, Verley and I, whatever, we've been together a long time. As you know, I've told Mike before. I go, well, once in a while I'll make a comment. I say, well, like if I say, Verley, you look really pretty today, and
Thank you.
she's okay with that. I think that at some level that's not appropriate to say, but I got okay from him. I got okay from her, and I'll be like complimenting. I'm like,
Right,
man,
yeah.
she's an attractive woman.
Yeah.
And that is, and I will say that, but I did not mean that I think about you in the shower
No,
in
I
any
didn't
other
take it
way.
that
Okay.
way,
If I
believe me.
say- all right, good enough. All right,
just
hey,
We have more phone calls, I believe. Let's take the callers, and then of course Michelle only has a little bit more time with us.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good
Just
morning.
looking.
one more
Jed,
call, then she's got to go.
Do you believe in digging yourself in a deeper hole by continuing to talk? Do you believe in that theory?
I do.
Just,
You
I'm
know
just
what?
I just
asking.
keep digging because I
I'm
can always
just-
get out.
You know what? I think I did that, didn't I? That was awful. That was. You know what? At
That's
least you
typical
guys,
for Jim.
you and Adriana noticed it, and so learn from that. Okay, let's take a couple more calls because Michelle's got to go. Hey, you're on the air.
Yeah, good morning. My cell phone provider offered me a free one of these Google tablets.
excellent.
And truth be told, I generally don't watch the program on the internet,
Okay.
but I'm glad I've got that tablet today because, man, there's a lot of beef on that panel today, I'll tell you what.
All right, you're
Holy
done.
cow.
Thanks
You
a
know
lot.
what?
I know
Holy
you're
cow.
going to be ridiculing and derogatory.
You know,
I'm okay with that when I'm on, but not other people.
it's so immature, but it's really it just shows the level of these individuals, their maturity. I mean, grow up.
On here.
And I would say another word in front of it, but I'm gonna say grow the up.
It's okay. The
Okay.
live is okay.
All right, I don't know how this works.
You probably didn't press the right one.
So I wish
Because
that
I
we had
didn't
more
either.
time, Michelle. You're supposed
Yeah.
to tell them you can't sub when you're on the radio.
I
know this was
you know,
last minute.
this
Yeah.
was last minute, but you know,
Yeah.
if we get
All
a
right, so
regular
you
spot-
need to put that headset down very quietly, and then
gonna
and
switch over.
and Adriana's going to move over one seat.
You're good.
Thank you, Michelle Quinn. I want to say thank you, for all the stuff that you write in the Post Tribune. Someone really cares about the region, whether you agree with her politically or not. Nobody cares more about what's going on than Michelle Quinn, and also to the point where thank you very much when I was out, and really you and Verley and Adriana kind of carried the audience, and I appreciate that. So go teach the youth of tomorrow.
Well, we're not going anywhere.
Yeah,
So-
we're staying there. We're going to stay around.
But I meant Michelle's not going anywhere either. We're still going to be, coming back on from time to time with what they said. And
Oh, he wants us to break? No, let's keep going. 219-845-1100. Any phone? All right.
I just want to say to that previous caller, I understand that when you do get those free phones, when they set up the tents on the corner, they do give you a tablet with that. So I don't know how many minutes they give you with it and how much internet service you get with it, but I'm glad you were able to get one of those free phones.
219-845-1100. I also wanted to hit some of the changes that are going on in the immigration.
But wait, Jim. So
What?
we didn't finish about the government shutdown. So
Okay.
I do have to say this. I was very disappointed in the Democrats that caved, especially Senator Durbin out of Illinois, out of Chicago.
Why?
I was really disappointed in him. I believe in standing your ground. Negotiation comes from both sides. The Republicans were not willing to negotiate. Health care increases are going to affect a lot more people than the fact that the president would rather see people starve than release SNAP benefits. When they first got a court order to release those benefits and then to get a stay, and I'm upset with Ketanji Brown, Justice Ketanji Brown, for issuing that. But the fact that the Republicans would rather see people go without food rather than negotiate over health care and keep this government, because the government was shut down, SNAP should have still gone through. So these Democrats that bent over in that regard, I'm disappointed with. I want to thank our Congressman, Frank Mervan. Last night he was honored by the Sherrillville Democrats as the Democrat of the Year. He gave a phenomenal speech, packed room of people supporting him. He is such a strong fighter and such a great speaker, and I'm so proud that he voted no when it came down to Congress and voting to reopen the government. So despite the government being closed, there was no reason why people should not have gotten their food benefits. Mm-hmm. And if you think Republicans have your best interests at heart, when they would rather see people starve than get those SNAP benefits, then you need to really look in the mirror at what you believe. I listened to you. You talked about the bishops issuing their statement.
I want to go to that next.
Well,
yeah.
Also, before we end on that government shutdown topic, 2 of them are retiring, and the rest of them are not up for re-election. So that was another thing that they're like, well, I don't have to worry about my seats, and also I'm leaving.
But Durbin retiring,
mm-hmm.
Why would you
want to go out like that?
Right.
That's what people, a lot of people were saying that, and that those 8 Democrats made those 8 Democrats made it the rest of the world to be an enemy towards Democrats entirely. And it's the same thing if it was the other side. Mm-hmm. A few Republicans, because I think some of them during the government shutdown, when it was like the yes or no to reopen the government, some Republicans were turning to no, right?
Right.
Some of them were turning to no. And with the Republican Party, people are like, why are you turning to no when you were yes before? Like, you're making an enemy out of the very few people of an entire party. You're making an enemy out of them.
I'm going to take the other side of that.
Okay.
Because we're just talking about SNAP benefits and people not getting their disability checks and millions and millions of people across America are going to be affected by higher insurance rates. I get that. But immediately the government being shut down had an immediate effect on a lot of people. And John Fetterman from Pennsylvania is following what he was going to do. From the very beginning, he's like, we can't shut the government down right now, not at this point in the world when basically all the really rich people are doing well, and then, like 50% of people can't even make it paycheck to paycheck.
But you're giving up your leverage.
I get you giving up your leverage from a political point, but
from a humanity point.
And it really solidified it for me yesterday when Santos and Nikki Micah came in here and talked about all the people just flooding into the North Township office because they're not getting their SNAP benefits. And then, I got to you and Semino got to make a call on the Kuziak food drive because I have a feeling we're going to get a ton of food that Northwest Indiana Food Bank needs. And you have to, it's one or the other. There's a balance. You know what?
Jim, I've been running a soup kitchen for over 30 years. I understand the food need. But the interesting part about it, regardless to whether those SNAP benefits paid out or not, people still have that need. And believe me, after those benefits are paid out and people are able to restock their cabinets to the small degree that they're able to, that need is still going to exist. And the North Township and the Calumet Township and all Ross Township, whatever townships there are, they're still going to have those same people trying to struggle to pay these high NIPSCO bills, trying to pay these high rents. I had a girl come to me 2 weeks ago. asking for $1,500 for a security deposit. She's getting a Section 8 voucher, and she still needs $1,500 to pay a security deposit for a new apartment. So those needs are not going anywhere, regardless to whether the government is shut down or open. The needs are not going anywhere. So if the Republicans really cared about people, then the governor, as Congressman said last night, would have put a halt to NIPSCO's increase. We would focus more on these high rents, high security deposits, benefits to the wealthy, and poor people not having the health care they need, not getting the student loan help that they need. There's so many things that are out there that are draining on people's income, that SNAP was just one thing in a group of others.
Well, it comes down to the balance. And Fetterman and Durbin, they're like, hey, listen, what is the greater evil right now? Because there's two evils going on. There are people that are going to be starving, or people that aren't going to get health care because they can't afford it come January. Okay?
Well, so how you said they want to be able to afford health care come January. And people are like, well, why don't you go towards the insurance companies? Why don't you go after them? They're the ones setting the prices. Why don't you go after them? Come January, correct me if I'm wrong, because these insurance premiums are so high, people can't afford them. We're going to see a drop in the insurance business because of this. And because of that drop, that decline of people not buying insurance, is that going to lower their prices, or are they going to stay that high?
No, they're going to get even higher, because now you have people that are uninsured. We're not going to let them just die in the street when they, have diabetes or something, or they break their ankle. They're going to go to the emergency room, and they will have to be seen, because that's what we do.
Until they close down the next emergency room so that they don't have to see them.
Exactly, and that's what's happening in rural areas. You break your ankle in north central Indiana, or you get your finger caught in a can opener, you got to drive 45 minutes, and then you got to wait a few hours, and then you finally get seen. Well, that's what we're headed for. So, yeah. But do we want or do we want people that cannot get their benefits? They cannot sign up for Social Security. They can't even process their IRS returns. I mean, it's just I understand the other side of it. I hope that they can come to some resolution on the health care, because without Obamacare, as it is known, I would have had to go get a job. They were raking me for $6,000 a month, because I had a child that was in her 20s that
just went up to 4.
Yeah, that had to go. That had a pre-existing condition, and I said it on the air. I go, I can handle this a few more months, but then I got to go get a job, and you guys are out of luck. Somebody else has got to do this.
Well, then also with the Affordable Care Act and them not wanting to do anything with that, that's the only way. Because when I was doing the research, I was like, what did the Affordable Health Care Act do? Because a lot of people said that messed up their insurance when it was introduced. That insurance was way lower before it was introduced. The Affordable Health Care Act is one way that children can stay on their parents' insurance until they're 26. So now that they are unable to do that, you're kicked off at 18 now, right?
No, well, that's one of the proposals. I don't really know all of the nodules of what's going to happen, other than the fact that they basically want less government support of stuff like. The one thing that I hope they can't get rid of is the pre-existing condition. They can't hold that against you. What I think will happen come January, there will be a massive backlash against your Republican opponents, and
the Democrats will be on the side saying, "I told you so." Do you believe that what was negotiated for those senators to vote yes, that they were going to revisit this, is going to take place? Or do you think the Republicans are going to backslide and say it wasn't a gentleman's agreement? We never signed anything.
And they haven't. They have. Yeah, I don't think it. I think that as soon as this open, and it's like screw you. So
I'm like,
bad.
do I want to put the rose-colored glasses on, thinking, okay, Republicans will finally come up with a health care plan? Do I want to put the rose-colored glasses on and have that hope?
This is Trump's second term. He said he was going to come up with one the first time.
I want to hit one other topic with you, Verley, and with you, Adriana. So I'm supposed to leave right now. Do you want me to stay for
Stay.
another
Why do you have to
15, 20
leave?
minutes? I was just moving so that you guys could have your own discussions. But
Stick around.
we're
So we
gonna,
can have girl talk.
so we're
The
gonna
View, -1.
and
Girl
I'll
talk
tell you,
plus
I'll
Joe.
tell you exactly what I want to talk about, and one that is, I think, maybe the most. It is providing the most consternation in me as a Catholic, and as many Catholics,
Yep.
is when the bishops came out, and I want to talk about that because now you have the balance. Do I follow my church or do I follow my state? And this is what I've been talking about for years, that it was going to come down to this, and the dilemma got real on Wednesday, and we'll talk about it right after this. We're going to take a short break. I'm actually going to come back. Thank you for letting me stay.
Of
We'll be
course.
right back on the Voice and Face of the Region. AM 1230 WJOB 104.7 FM. 102 years of independent talk, discussion, news, sports, all that stuff. And it continues on tonight. Don't forget at 6:30, it'll be Hobart at South Bend. That'll be our featured game tonight. We haven't been able to have all of the high school games on the radio, partly because Purdue has either played football or basketball, or IU has played football or basketball on a Friday night. So tonight we're very it'll be a cool thing. You'll be able to drive around, listen to the game, and when you get somewhere, if you get to a bar or something, say, hey, put that Hobart game on. Hey, put that Andrean game on. And then they'll have to go do that for you. But that's tonight. Joe Cimino will be part of the pregame show. Joe is a quarterback at Andrean. He's the producer here and a big part of our sports network. In about 40 minutes, 50 minutes, they're going to put out a press release and a video that says what the new name of Jed TV Sports Network is going to be. They're going to take my name off of it, and they're going to give it a new name, and mostly because of Matt Hansen over here at Purdue projecting as we move into new markets, which we are, that it's probably better to have a name that's not about me because nobody gives a rat's patootie who I am, maybe outside of this market. But anyways, let's take a look at traffic. 294 around the city looks pretty good. 80 going east and west looks good. Bishop Ford is good, but the Dan Ryan's been bad all morning long, and it's still bad all the way from 103rd on in. I don't know what happened. I don't know why it's so slow. But the Bishop, typically when the Dan Ryan's slow, the Bishop Ford is also slow, but it's just Dan Ryan. I don't know if they have one lane closed or resurfacing or picking up trash or whatever, but there hasn't been any accidents, and it's just bad. Skyway, Toll Road, Borman, I-65 all look pretty good. A little bit of slowness on the Borman westbound as you come into Indianapolis Boulevard. I don't see an accident. I think that's just heavy traffic. In terms of the weather,
Hello.
knock, knock, Joe Semino.
I'm here.
Joe, you're going to be out there today. Tell us how Andrean's going to kick some butt against Southmont.
Andrean is going to kick some butt against Southmont, and after I picked them at the beginning of the year and they beat Hobart, I pledged to never go against them again this year. And I think that it's going to work out well for them as long as they don't get into a shootout. If Southmont's offense starts getting going, then that's going to be a problem for Andrean. But as terms of the weather, it'll be a lovely Friday for the championship game today, with a high of 65 and not a lot of clouds, mostly sunny. And then tomorrow, starting out the weekend officially, we'll have a high of 68 and plenty more sun. And then rounding out the weekend, we'll have a high of 50.
Catholic, Verley Suggs and Adriana Alvarez are with us, and why don't we do this? I'll be just quiet for a second so Adriana will know where to cut. Hey, everybody, it's Adriana Alvarez and Verley Suggs with me, Jim Dedelow. We're recording this podcast on Friday, November 14th. Catholic bishops rebuke U.S. mass deportation of immigrants. In a rare statement, the bishops framed the immigration crisis in moral terms. We feel compelled in this environment to raise our voices in defense of God-given human dignity. The Catholic bishops rebuked the Trump administration's aggressive deportation campaign in a near unanimous statement. It was passed at the annual conference in Baltimore. The bishops said they, quote, oppose the indiscriminate mass deportation of people and, quote, pray for an end to dehumanizing rhetoric and violence, whether directed at immigrants or at law enforcement. We as Catholic bishops love our country and pray for its peace. For this very reason, we feel compelled in this environment to raise our voices in defense of human dignity. Your first thought, Verley?
Well, a few weeks ago, I had said to my priest I was very disappointed in Bishop McCourt because he had not come out and said anything.
Pull your mic up just slightly. Thank you.
That the bishop had not come out and said anything in that regard. And he said, well, I understand, he doesn't want to alienate people on both sides. And I'm saying, no excuse. I always go to Matthew, and whatsoever you do to the least of my brothers, that you do unto me. For the bishops to finally come out and say them, and it wasn't unanimous. I think there was
six of them.
Yeah,
it says
six.
Near unanimous.
Yeah,
yes.
right. So there was 6 that didn't agree with that.
Yeah.
And the Pope has continuously come out on behalf of immigrants. So for them to finally take a stand, because there are churches here in the region where immigrants go, people who are being rounded up, people in fear to go to church, people in fear to send their kids to school. And for them to come out and make that statement, I'm very appreciative of it. It gives me faith in my Catholic faith, that people who share my faith believe the same things that I believe. And so it's not about legalities. It's about what Jesus stood for. And if you call yourself a Catholic, if you call yourself a Christian, then you have to believe as Jesus believed and as he taught. So these people who say, they don't belong here, they don't have legal papers or whatever they want to use as an excuse, to me, they're not true Christians. They're just talkers.
Here's what the bishop said. We are disturbed when we see among our people a climate of fear and anxiety. We are saddened by the vilification of immigrants and concerned about the conditions in detention centers. Adriana Alvarez, your thoughts?
It breaks my heart that it has to get political. That religion, regardless if it's Catholic, Christian, evangelical, whatever you believe in, and if you don't believe in something, it's getting political. There's no more separation of church and state. We were seeing that with lawmakers, that the reason why there's certain laws into place is because of their religious beliefs. That's why they were siding with it. Okay. But how they're saying that the extent that it's taken to immigration and how people are getting taken, that this is why they're making this statement. And we saw it with the 60 Minutes that our president did, that it hasn't gone far enough with what they're doing with immigration and how they're getting people with the aggressiveness that goes towards it. And I've said it before that yes, immigration is a thing that at points in time it has to happen. That if you do not have the correct papers and everything, okay, then you have to go back. But don't send them back in this regard that it's taking away a person's humanity, that it's so violent and aggressive. And it's not to say, yes, send them to the Four Seasons on a private jet airplane. No, but don't chain them up. Don't tie them up like they're animals.
Well, in response, Trump got more aggressive in the last couple of days, and they now are going at guardians, and Trump's new immigration push, some say in response to the Catholic bishops, is I've got to subscribe, so I can't read it right now.
Well, so with that also, they were saying that some people that wanted or that were for the immigration all the way through and through, they're like, well, we thought that he was only going after the criminals, the worst of the worst. But you see that they're going after families and children without, and like the pathway to citizenship. So it's causing a lot of divide, not only in politics, but also in religious beliefs as well, like we're seeing.
So what you have is they're now going after the guardians of kids and just pulling them away. And in a weird situation, I was in one of the grocery stores, and a woman said to me, "Hey, are you Jed?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm Jim Dedelow." And she said, she's heavy Mexican accent, and she says to me, she goes, "I'm legal, and so is my husband and my whole family, but our next door neighbors, the kids were born here, and neither one of them are legal or documented." And every morning those kids go, and she sees them giving a hug, and they're like saying goodbye like every morning because they don't know if their mom and dad are going to be there every morning. And their kids, I think one of them's like 6 years old and 8 years old, I think she said. She said they can't even barely get them on the bus. And I'm like, God, that's just something that I did not want to hear about. And but because I know some people in that situation where the kids were born here and the undocumented, and what are you going to do with that? But what it brings about for us as Catholics is, I start to think about some of these ICE agents that take their Catholic faith to the core, and they also took an oath to uphold the Constitution and whatever they're told to do. This is what you got to do. So now you have what I said from the beginning was what I thought was going to be the issue. I kept having this recurring dream of a commanding officer telling some guy to charge the White House, but we don't have to use the White House. And the young kid is like, my church is telling me that this is wrong.
Religious objector.
I am being told by my church and my faith that what I'm doing, busting in, and there's kids sitting there, and dad, works wherever in some sort of mill or something. We're going to pick them up, and we're going to take them, and we're going to meet our quota of how many people we got to get in a week or whatever, and just ripping them apart from a family. And that young man or woman has to look at that and say, who do I follow at this point? What do I follow? Do I follow my faith, or do I follow my country? And this is a dilemma I can't get past, because also I'm sitting here thinking, well, personally, it really got real on Wednesday. I've been kind of trying not to look at it. How do I handle it on the air? How do I handle what I'm going to couch? Because I understand this is the law. These people need to be, dealt with. But we're not just going after criminals anymore. We're going after good, upstanding citizens and just grabbing them and sending them who knows where and putting them in who knows what type of detention centers. I don't know if that's America. I don't want to make that decision, political or what is illegal or morally. But now it's a deep Catholic faith, I think, for all three of us. And it became real on Wednesday.
I would never let my faith be compromised by any authority. So if I was in that dilemma where I was asked on a job to go against my faith, well, the job is a choice. My faith is not a choice. My faith is that I believe in God and I believe in everything that Jesus came here to do. And so my soul is more important than my paycheck.
But you've taken an oath to uphold the Constitution, and
Here's my letter of resignation. Thank you for the job. It helped me buy my new home, but moving forward, I'll be looking for a new job.
One person I don't want to talk to right now, you probably aren't going to think about this. My cousin Dwayne was the mayor of Hammond for 11 years, long before
Deacon
you guys.
Dwayne.
He left. He went for 6 years to study how to become a deacon. He actually did it in the WJOB offices because he didn't want to do it at home. So he was there every day for years. Hey, Dwayne, how you doing? And then some of the other deacon guys that were studying, they'd come in and have deacon study sessions. He left public life, and he is an entirely spiritual man, and he presides over, he's so in demand for weddings and funerals that he's got to basically say no anymore. But I don't want him to tell me, Jimmy, you got to respect your faith amongst all other things.
He came on, Jim. You have a recording somewhere when you brought him on that morning. He shared his deep faith. I mean, I love Deacon Dwayne, and he is a spiritual guy. I mean, I've dealt with him over the years in different roles that he has had. He has always been a man of integrity and a true Christian, true Catholic, and he has no problem sharing his faith with anyone.
So, Adriana, will you get him on, either with me or with you?
Yes.
It's time to talk to the deacon. I agree with you, because there's a couple of things about this. This thing with the bishops is really led by a guy from South Holland. Okay, that's a dude over here.
And just be careful, because now that the bishops have come out with a statement, he may not be in a position where he can.
He wants to say something.
Yeah, because I think that he's under the bishops, and it's probably not good to try and bring him on now to comment on something that the bishop has made a statement about.
All right, then we need our bishop on.
Yeah, I would get Bishop McCrory on.
Yeah, your bishop. We'll bring our bishop on, because
we'll make some phone calls.
One of the biggest bishops behind this was Blaise Supich out of Chicago, and he was talking about all the atrocities that are going on in Chicago and how all the parishes are getting, the breadwinners taken away, and then they don't know what to do. They go to the church, in the Catholic Church in Chicago, and they're running out of resources. And Supich is like, dude, this has to happen now. And he was a big push behind that. I don't know where McCrory's at. We'll talk to him, hopefully.
He'll actually be doing Mass at the cathedral this Sunday. For
our producer is telling us to take phone calls. 219-845-1100. Hey, you're on the air.
Jimmy, while you're doing your free time, brother, how about fix the volume?
Hey, what's your issue?
Well, the volume is low while you're on hold. I can barely hear you guys.
Okay, and that is something that they'll address. But what's your issue with the Catholic faith and the bishops coming out? And
well, I'll knock these out quick for you. First, hey, Brad Gimbel, give me a call, baby. But regarding faith, I know the Pope has come out vehemently opposed to abortion and gay marriage, and yet I think the Democrats are very emphatic for both of those issues. So,
all right,
let's
stop
not
right
talk
now.
about
Stop
faith.
right now. Stop.
Well, what's wrong? What's wrong?
Here's what's happened.
What?
Every call that I've brought up about this issue, I think I did it with 3 callers yesterday. It's like, oh, what about, the predatory priests, and oh, what about Catholics and their finances? I understand there are other issues surrounding.
Yeah, it's called talk radio, Jimmy.
Yeah, I understand there are other issues, but I don't want to shift off this moral dilemma. You're a Catholic.
I'll
Hold on a
explain it
second.
to you
You're
right
a
now.
Catholic, and our bishops are saying, please respect the human dignity. They're very critical of what's going on. How do you take that as a Catholic?
Well, I take them as full of crap because it's not indiscriminate. These are targeted arrests of criminals. And the New York Times, by the way, yesterday, when this subject came up, said, no, it is still a targeted effect or a targeted plan by ICE to only take away people with criminal outstanding issues. They're not taking moms and dads away. They did this fake one with this teacher in Chicago. Oh, it turned out she wasn't a teacher. Turned out she was trying to traffic people into the country with one of the cartels. She wasn't taken out of the school. She tried to break into the school to hide from ICE. So let's, the stories of these issues, and I readily admit, I'd hate to see a family torn apart. But on the other hand, like the guest your Kuziak had on, turns out the guy still had criminal record on his thing from issues he did after he got out of prison. Oh, we forgot to mention that part. And if we needed more money for the legal residents at all the soup kitchens in the area who need assistance, we'd have that money if we didn't leave the border open for 4 years. Do you guys realize Donald Trump has not even been in office for 10 months yet, and we're blaming him for Obamacare? That you guys said was the savior
All right.
to the
We're
world.
talking about the moral dilemma. So
There's no dilemma.
No, hold on. All right.
The statement's incorrect.
So
it's not indiscriminate.
First of all, the New York Times, I read all their articles on this. They did not ever say that it was strictly just the criminals. I don't have that here. If you want to send that to me, send it to me, because this has gone.
Do your own homework like you tell us.
Hey, this has gone way behind. Hey, this guy has on a felony on his record, to the ICE agents having to make quotas. There is a specific moral dilemma, and I ask, do you choose your church or do you choose the state? And you are solidly in the state category. Am I reading that correctly?
We have laws to follow, and we would have. That's why we call it civil
that's a yes.
society.
All right, thank you. That's
hey,
a yes.
when's Kuziak coming back?
There you go. That is, I did this yesterday, and I don't know if you guys listened to that, and I had caller after caller that are like, oh, this, all these other issues that are separate from this moral dilemma. His thing is, they're just going after criminals. They're not. That's like a fairy tale.
So can I comment on what this caller had said, that they brought up that this Pope is against?
You don't have to say, can I?
Oh, okay.
I'm going to comment. Just comment.
I'm going to comment on what this caller
can I
said.
ask Burley to pull her microphone up again?
Well,
I
put my mic down because that other caller, I had nothing for him.
All right,
so I
go
just
ahead.
moved my mic.
So the caller said that our Pope is against gay marriage and abortion. So our Pope's against this, that people are automatically going to follow what the Pope says. But then we have this that says respect the human dignity of these individuals, that what's happening with immigration is horrible. When people look at faith, and for instance, let's use the Bible, even though not all religions look at the Bible, but this is something that has been talked about. Do you follow every single thing in the Bible? Every single scripture, every single word? If your hands cause you to sin, cut them off. So are you going to go cut off your hands?
No, I don't follow it.
If a man and another man lie together, they're doomed for death. Okay, so are they going to go and commit suicide right then and there? Are you going to follow every single little thing in the Bible? Some people don't follow every single thing that is said by the bishops, by the Pope. And that is the thing of religion. We So in theology class, we're taught that with religion, it's free will. If it was not free will, everybody would have to follow the same thing. Everybody is going to relate to one higher power. It's not going to be that people worship, because people like to say with different faiths, oh, you guys worship the saints, you guys worship Mary, you guys worship Jesus, God, and whatever it may be. That's the thing of free will. Now, people struggle with faith all the time. I myself have been struggling with faith for a good 6 years because of everything that happens in the world, all the deaths, all the diseases that have happened, global pandemics. I've lost so many people throughout just 6 years, and I struggle with my faith. And yes, I may have a tattoo of a cross on my arm, but that doesn't mean that I'm 100% of my faith all the time. There's going to be times where I'm like, okay, why is this happening? I thought that with my faith and how I believe in God, how I choose to believe in God, that things like this wouldn't happen anymore, but they do. And it's one of those things that you have to look at it. And some people say, oh, it's selective. You're cherry picking what you want to believe in. That's the thing of free will. It's not to really say that, oh, you're Catholic, but you believe in abortion, so you can't be Catholic. And for people to be like, you believe in abortion, no. Abortion is a choice. It's not like people are saying, oh, yes, abortion need to be used for birth control. No. And if there's some individuals that do that, that's their prerogative. That's their free will. If that's how they want to believe, if they believe in a faith, if they don't believe in a faith, that's their free will. But we've seen it with access to abortion care. Once you limit that, then you're going to see a spike in some areas. And then also, abortion is only a small percentage, like in the entire nation. However many people, however many abortions happen in the nation per year is a very small percentage. And it's people are like, in only cases of rape and all that stuff. That small percentage, it's still a big amount of people. It's in the thousands.
So back to the moral dilemma.
Yeah, there's people are gonna.
So let me ask you directly.
Mm-hmm.
The bishops came out, and for me that was different. That was a big thing. I wondered when certainly Pope Leo has been going after it. The
Mm-hmm.
South Holland guy that listened to WJOB when he was
my
growing
cousin.
up. Yeah, yeah.
And my cousin.
He's your
Yeah.
cousin?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
So, I mean, the guy's a local guy. He listened to WJOB
He
for
doesn't
school
know
closings.
he's my cousin because his family chose to pass over. But
So he's got African American blood in him?
he's got Creole blood from Louisiana.
Oh, Creole. That's
Yeah.
right. You're right. I did not know that.
Yeah.
So,
which has African American blood
So
in it.
back
yes.
to the moral dilemma.
Mm-hmm.
You have church versus state.
And now it's together. I don't really think that there's a clear division of church and state anymore.
Well, you know what? Let's put a break there because Joe's trying to get us to take one, and then we'll bring it back. How's that?
All right. Voice and face of the region. Be right back. AM 1230, WJOB 104.7 FM. Please stay tuned after us today. Alex Gordon is going to talk about affordable housing for veterans, along with Connie is back. So we got all that going on. First of all, don't forget that we will have it's a huge night, regional finals tonight. Hobart is at South Bend. They'll be on South Bend St. Joe. That'll be on, come on 6:15. It's a 6:30 start. It's in the Eastern time zone. Andrean is playing at home. That'll be on the Jed TV app, which in about 23 minutes is going to get a new name, Jed TV, but you'll be able to watch it on the app tonight. And Andrean is hosting Southmont, an 11-1 Southmont team. Let's take a last look at traffic. 294 around the city looks pretty good. 80 going east and west looks good. Bishop Ford looks good. Dan Ryan is much better on the southern end of it, but it's still bad as you approach downtown and going into Jane Burns. Skyway, Toll Road, Borman, I-65 are all moving along well. Joe Cimino, who is the biggest Andrean fan in the studios right now, is going to give us weather.
Probably the only Andrean fan in the studio. But
I'm a fan.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Joe,
I'm a fan of Noel,
you.
too. My kids
I'm a
went to
fan
Noel,
of you,
but
Joe.
Jeez,
I'm a
thank you.
fan
I'm a
of both.
fan. I'm a big fan tonight. I want them to beat the heck out of Southmont.
So
Go
do
ahead.
I will say yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go Andrean for this
Good. I'm glad everyone's rolling with the Niners this week. But, okay, so today on game day, sectional championship, we got a beautiful high of 65 degrees, minimal clouds, a lot of sun. It's going to be a beautiful day. Saturday, it's going to get even warmer with a high of 68 and much of the same with minimal clouds and a lot of sun. And then Sunday, the clouds are going to go away, but the temperature will drop a little bit with a high of 50 degrees. And that's your weather for the rest of the week.
And let's just go straight into it. We've been talking.
Wait a minute. I thought you said there were callers waiting.
They are. We're going to go
Yeah,
straight into them. I'm just going to introduce the section because Adriana is going to want this last one for her podcasting. Hey, everybody. We've been talking about the Catholic bishops coming out this week. They're rebuking the United States of America for mass deportation of immigrants. We feel compelled now in this environment to raise our voices in defense of God-given human dignity, according to the bishops. Let's take some phone calls. Verly Suggs and Adriana Alvarez.
And I wanted to make sure, because I thought you said the bishop in Chicago, but you meant Cardinal Supich, right?
Oh, I meant Cardinal Supich.
Yeah,
my fault.
I just wanted to correct
yes,
that.
and I got a text while I was going to the washroom.
Oh, did you?
Yes, make sure you rectify that one. Okay, hey, let's take a phone call. Hey, you're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Ron.
Well, I feel real good. I had a great night last night. When our congressman came back home, we welcomed him and said, "A job well done." He's the kind of person, and I was just thinking, I said, Frank is the kind of guy, he will basically talk to people who don't even like him, and because he's a people person. And he talked about, crossing out and having a relationship with the Republican Party, whatever. But he's not a sellout. He believes in his people. He believes in health care. He believes in Medicare and Medicaid. He believes that there are people who can't afford to do whatever. And I just can't understand how, as my brother tell me, you get a little upset. I said, yeah, because when you have a person like Frank Mervan, who could potentially be a vice presidential candidate one day when the Democrats take over, because he is really concerned, and but the stuff that they're trying to do to him. But like I say, when I seen that crowd last night, they said it won't happen. He had it was packed house, and good to see you, Burley, there last night.
Good to see you too.
And we're both shaking our head, Matlock.
Yeah,
Matlock, we're both shaking our head. I had in this seat yesterday Jim Weezer. And I'm like, Jim Weezer, do you think that the Republicans are going to redistrict so that they could try to get rid of Frank? And he's like, absolutely. They're all going to cave, and they're all going to vote for it. And I disagree. Verly is shaking her head, too. I think you guys you got the rose-colored glasses on there, Matlock.
Well, let's put it this way. I think what happened this last November, 3rd, when the people are upset in this country, they're upset, and that ought to have been a message to Donald Trump and those people. And certainly this guy Vance sits behind him. He ain't making it good for Vance, I can tell you that. If Vance wanted to be the president and he's silent and all this stuff going on, So I just believe Frank Marianne is the person that basically, and given the opportunity, I hear it on this station all the time, and you know I get upset about it, yeah, but people have a right to say what their opinion, but they need to have some factual stuff. This stuff, right now, they talking about, these going at these criminals. What about the insurrection, the criminals? That said, why don't they? What's happening? You give them a pardon and call them patriot people? So I'm just simply saying, in all, to make and I close by saying this, that I was very pleased last night, and of course I was pleased. A lot of my friends, personal friends, as you talked to some of them earlier at my table. It was it was worth. I was tired when I got home. And I said, well, I'm going to get on this morning and just let her know. And thanks to Tom Smith. I mean, he's a great chairman of the Cherville Democratic Party.
He's listening.
And I would hope he would. I told him I hope he would call in today. I mean, Tom, if you're listening, just call in. You're a great guy. I've always respected you. We talked several times. I've known him over the years, and now, in terms of Frank, I met Frank as a township board. We were both township board members in Indianapolis, and I said I kind of like this guy.
All right, hey,
And
Ron, we're gonna cut you off, and we're gonna talk about that.
It was a nice event last night. Rodney Pohl, Senator, did a fantastic job. I think that when we talk about this redistricting, it just shows how desperate the Republicans are. Because the fact that they feel that they have to redistrict to try and win a seat that they can't win without redistricting. But I have to applaud next door, because if they redistrict over here, they're going to redistrict over there. So Donald Trump may end up actually losing seats, because I believe Frank Mervan is the quality candidate that even if they redistrict, he'll still win.
So Weezer's here, and we need to get his podcast playing on the air because it was pretty good.
All the audios are in there, by the way.
All right. I'll put them in today. And Weezer brought something up. As he said, listen, a lot of them are kind of talking that they don't really want to do this.
And
but
was
he goes,
there last night.
He goes, they're going to cave. And watch
my
words.
And that's a shame. If you look at the one right next door in Highland that has known probably Congressman Mervan most of his life, the fact that he would cave to the Republican Party down there when you know who Frank Mervan is.
Well, that's
and that he represents everyone. All the unions were there last night. The steel workers, the laborers, Teamsters. There was such a representation of people who believe that Frank Mervan is in Congress fighting for their best interests.
So Matlock brought something up, and I've been looking at this. In Kansas, they told Trump no way, and we're not doing it, even though they have like a bigger super majority in parts of it than in Indiana. They're like, nope, we're not doing it. And it was only for one district. Mm-hmm. Okay. So really they're doing it for one district here in Indiana. And the push is, they're calling state legislators from the White House. And they're, as Mitch Daniels said, there's an all out push for it. And I started thinking about it. And I think Matlock hit on it. I'm like, why are they going so much at Frank Mervan? Then I started thinking about it. I go, well, he's a tall white guy from the middle of the country who's a Democrat. I remember when Mervan told me that when he first went there the first few days that everybody was caucusing and they thought he was going to the wrong party because he's just a tall white dude from the middle of the country. They figured he was
from Indiana.
Yeah, from Indiana. They figured he was Republican and he's over there. So I think that he provides danger to that kind of for higher office because he he's huge on the unions, which were kind of moving toward Trump in a lot of ways, and he could maybe bring them back that way. He would be a decent vice presidential candidate.
Most definitely.
And they got to look at that. Well, man, we need to cut him off now before this grows anymore.
They've been trying to cut him off since he got in office. They've gone from the black woman to the white guy from South County to now redistricting because neither one of them. So just think about it. You bring a black woman in, you think, oh, she's going to take Gary. This is going to help us get rid of Mervan. Well, it didn't work, okay? So then you say, okay, that didn't work. Let's get the white guy from South County. He's a good old boy. truck driver, the whole works. He can take it. Didn't happen that way. So now all of a sudden, well, that didn't work. Let's redistrict. So let's not only cut out the black congressman, the only black congressman from the state of Indiana, Andre Carson, but let's take Frank Mervan out as well. I mean, really?
They're not going to get Andre Carson. There's no way to draw it as Mitch Daniels said in his op-ed. He said there's absolutely no way to draw it where you can get rid of Andre Carson. They're really just going after Frank Mervan. And I'm, in the shower once again trying to figure out why are they doing this. And let me take a one quote from the guy in Kansas who I think there's a little bit of truth to this. Mm-hmm. He said, Democrats have been gerrymandering for years, and now folks want to clutch their pearls that Republicans are finally fighting back.
Fighting back? They've been redistricting in Indiana. Frank Mervan's father's district was redistricted. That's why you got Senator Dedelow. Come on now. We all know that the best choice for that position was Mike Griffin.
But
how does Mike Griffin lose an election? This guy is like the most beloved, nice guy. He is the nicest guy that was ever in politics.
So I agree with the guy that everybody gerrymanders, and now Democrats are getting all up in a huff and a puff about redistricting. I mean, the part of this
Democrats.
But there's part of this argument is that when you're in charge, you can do whatever you want.
Yep.
And that's what's happening. Now, is there going to
be fallout?
There's going to. I think Mitch Daniels was right. It could very well work against Republicans if they do this, but I don't know. I mean, if you're in charge, it's a tool you can use.
Well, just because you have the tool does not necessarily mean it's wise to use.
Why is that tool being used at Frank Mervan? Because he is the dangerous one. Because, they tried to do it with Kane. They tried to do it from the guy from Minnesota. None of them could pull it off, like bringing in the white fold and the white guys that are in unions and stuff. It's a whole different story when you get that 6'3" white guy standing up there from Indiana saying, "Come play with the Democrats." That's very powerful. That's a little bit more powerful. All right, we can take one more phone call, huh? What do you think? Hey, you're on the air. Go ahead.
How can you watch Sam's announcement? Is there a link, or is it going to be on air, or how can you watch it?
Go to Jed TV Sports Network on Facebook, and he should be putting it up around 9 o'clock.
What if you don't have Facebook?
Do you have Instagram?
Do I have your email? Just email me and I'll put you on the list real quick, okay?
Okay, I'll send it right now.
Jed at WJOB1230.com, and then I'll send it to Sam, and he'll make sure you get it, okay?
Okay, yep, thanks.
All right, man, thanks a lot.
So Jim, why can't you just end the show and you just announce it? Here is your station.
They asked me not to.
Really?
Adriana has responsibilities with her podcast network that I didn't really want, and the WJOB 1230 Facebook and YouTube channel. And I hired the consultant to say let these people make their own decisions. It's Adriana and Sabino. They're running it. Sam and Peter and Matt and all these guys and Ben. I have to move out of the way. I can't helicopter in.
Would you tell Rupert Murdoch that he cannot make an announcement about what happens on Fox?
Rupert Murdoch, believe me, I've studied his management style, and he has limits. He goes, I have to have limits because my people need to make decisions. He limits himself.
No, you let them make the decision, but that doesn't mean you can't be a part of the announcing.
Adriana doesn't say much about it. Sam doesn't say much about it, but
the Sports Network?
Well, I don't need to be helicoptering in and telling you guys what to do. And that's what I would be doing
you were talking
again.
about it on the air before, like they were even going to make the announcement. They're like, "Stop talking about it, please." It's because stuff hasn't been finalized, so they were just like, "You gotta tell them no." And I was just like,
"All right,
you guys gotta tell them no."
Then you need to tell me not to say that because they told me that it was coming out at 9 o'clock.
It is, but prior to that.
Oh well, the lawyer signed off last night.
Yeah.
So that was what we were waiting for. All right, one last call. Go ahead.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Dave from Gary. How's everyone?
Good.
Exciting times.
Oh, tell us about it.
I'm just going to throw my 2 cents in about Northwest Indiana. And I think, well, one, I know why a lot of Republicans are apprehensive behind closed doors, they don't want to redistrict, because SB 1 has not kicked in yet. Wait till after the first of the year when SB 1 kicks in, and redistricting, and the farmers, which Indiana's primarily feed corn and beans, and they're getting hammered. Now, I don't think you have to have a crystal ball to figure out the possibility. I mean, anything could happen. Maybe nothing changes, right?
And soy would be beans,
so
I'm sorry.
But if a Republican, if a Republican comes into Northwest Indiana and thinks he's going to use the national rhetoric of what the Trump administration and President Trump says, that's not going to work here. And the last thing any Indiana Republican is going to do is shoot to the middle where everyone should be, and because that won't work nationally, right?
I disagree with you on that. You see a couple of Republicans breaking ranks towards the center because they feel like there's going to be fallout, as Fuentes said last night. Fuentes said last night, I don't agree with him. He said MAGA's dead, and what is going to be?
No, they're not.
If I was an elected official that was kind of in the Trump fold right now, and you're anticipating what the next move is on the Republican side, I think that the Mitch Daniels Republican that is out of favor right now will come back in a hurry in the next few years.
I will agree with you.
What you have to do is what you have to do is look at the midterms. Look at the Senate, the Democrats in the Senate who voted to reopen. Half of them aren't running again. Mm-hmm. It's like all of a sudden when an elected official decides they're not going to run anymore, they have a come to Jesus moment, right? And I guarantee you the Republicans that are going to vote for this, one, they're either in an extremely secure district or they're not going. This is going to be their last hurrah. It's so crystal clear what happens. But when Randy comes up here and preaches all the stuff what Donald Trump wants to do, it just doesn't fly north of Route 2. It's an uphill battle, and that's why I think no matter how it's going to be redistricted, because of the national politics and these tariffs that are killing Indiana farmers, I think Congressman Mervan will be fine south of Route 2.
Hey, Dave,
wrong.
Let me just say this about Route 2, because I sat at a table last night with 2 Lowell residents who put a big Mervan sign in their yard. So it doesn't even fly with some people a little south of Route 2.
Right. And I've always believed to the victor goes the spoils, right? If you live in a Republican enclave or a Democratic enclave, right? But do you think, it's so transparent that Texas started this redistricting. And now the people in a Democratic election in California said, let's do it. But now Trump is filing lawsuits against California. Mm-hmm. Why isn't he filing lawsuits against Texas?
Exactly.
You finished the Weezer podcast?
Yes.
All right, I'll play it this afternoon. You got to listen to that because Weezer...
Actually, it's going to be only on radio. I'm waiting to get them back.
Okay.
To post them.
Any particular time? Because I'll
try to...
Any particular time?
Hopefully they will be up before 4 o'clock. If not, then they will be up tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock.
So Dave, just like the congressman brought up last night about teachers being told that they cannot speak and say anything by Rakita and the governor, hey,
that's
they're
right.
Gonna be, who wants to have your rights taken away? Your First Amendment right to speak out about an issue.
So Dave, I know where you live. All right. And I think
don't make it sound like a threat.
No,
it sounded like that.
He lives in Miller. Okay.
He parks at his
the only one that has not been to my house is Adriana. So she's the only one that's not been to my house.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. In that podcast, I didn't really know how they were going to redraw it, and Weezer talked about it for like 10 minutes about where we had to describe it verbally because most people will listen on the air and on the audio podcast. But what he said that the Republicans are proposing is to take Michigan City and Portage and Chesterton and Valpo that are all kind of becoming more and more Democrat or vote leaning, and certainly Michigan City is fully Democrat, and they're going to push that to South
Angie
Bend.
Deitch, she's in the book.
Yeah, and then
Mayor
what they'll
Deitch.
do is they'll keep Lake County for Mervan's district, but they will expand it all the way to like Benton County and then east, so it'll kind of look like Idaho, where you got Lake County, but it'll be all balanced by all these southern counties.
Right now, the district is just a sliver of LaPorte, and it would add all of LaPorte.
Yeah, so, I mean, the way he described it, I'm like, man, you know what? That's pretty smart. That's actually pretty smart, because then that becomes a higher percentage of Republicans in what is now Frank Mervan's district. And
all the way down to the Tippecanoe, too.
Yeah, all the way
down the Tippecanoe River.
Those people down there don't care anything about the guy who was serving food to, for assistance for North Township. Certainly Lake County, he would really carry.
What makes this, I'm going to finish with this, what makes this so egregious, right, is not the fact that it's being done, and we'll see if it really happens in Indiana, but it's what's unprecedented and so transparent, and Republicans don't care, especially, that it's done in the mid of a census, where traditionally it has not. And this is it's a grab because of the national politics. And really, I mean, just look at President Trump's so big about polls, right? And numbers and numbers and numbers. He fell under 36% yesterday. That's not good for him. That's not good for him at all.
All right, Dave, we got to cut you by.
Yeah.
See you.
Next show is coming up.
Joe Cimino, thank you. Joe Cimino will be on the pregame show from Andrean. It'll be Southmont at Andrean. That will only be on TV. That game, I think your pregame show might be on radio also, but the actual game, watch the Andrean game. Please come out to the game, 5959 Broadway. Cheer on the region team. It's going to be an 11-1 Southmont team that has beaten everybody badly. So see what Coach Skinner has to offer up. And then our main game will be on the radio and TV, and that is Hobart at South Bend St. Joe. That'll be a joint broadcast with the Regional Radio Sports Network. Any other announcements?
We're only running an hour this week, so 5:45 is the start time for the pregame show.
5:45, and the game starts at 6:30, so it's actually even shorter than an hour.
All podcasts that were recorded this week into next week, if they are not up before 4 o'clock today, they will be up at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Okay. Sam, Michael, and Peter have an announcement on the rebranding of Jed TV Sports. I don't have anything to do with it. They'll put it out whenever they feel like it. Watch the Facebook page on Jed TV Sports Network. Anything else, Cimino? Verley, thank you, like always.
Always.
I've enjoyed this
pleasure.
immensely. I feel like I was unnecessary, but
very
I've
necessary.
enjoyed it immensely. Thanks to everybody, but mostly thanks to you for listening and watching. Please stay tuned. This is a very timely discussion that's going to come up with some people. It is about affordable housing for veterans on Veterans Views. You're not going to want to miss this on the Voice and Face of the Region.